All right, let's talk about our agenda for today. It's, like I said, it's action-packed. We are going to try to allow time for membership to ask questions throughout. So we'll ask you to raise your hand if you wish to speak, but please try to be as concise and clear as possible. And we want to make sure everybody has appropriate time to be heard. First up, I am going to have some opening comments, recognitions, updates, as well as a year in review. Our first speaker today is Joanna Bishop. She's on the GWD50 School Board. Candy Fletcher will be joining us. She is an executive producer of an incredible documentary that I cannot wait for all of us to see. Jalen Elrod is coming into town. He's our new third vice chair for the South Carolina Democratic Party. We're going to hand out our Volunteer of the Month award, and we will close with the amazing, incredible, audacious Angela Jeter, who's running for U.S. Senate. But before we get to any speakers, I'd like some recognitions. First, I would like for you, if you are here at a Democratic Party meeting in Greenwood for the first time, to please stand. I want to see who are the new members here. Welcome. If this is your first in-person meeting, we welcome you. I would ask for those who are veteran members of our party to take note of who stood up next to you and make sure you give them a great Greenwood County Democratic Party show of hospitality. Welcome them, guide them around, introduce them to people. So thank you for coming out. Are there any active or veterans in the service that are in attendance today?
Me.
If you would, please stand. We'd love for you to be recognized. Thank you so much for your service. Wonderful. Are there any elected officials or those who have served as an elected official in attendance today? Wonderful. I see Mr. Floyd Nicholson there. Let's recognize him as well. Thank you. Thank you very much for your service. Finally, oh, we have one more. Yes, Mr. Monahan, thank you very much. Finally. Is there anyone here from outside of Greenwood County who came in from out of town? I see McCormick represented. I see Abbeville. I see Lawrence. I see Spartanburg behind me. Anybody else that I missed? It has been an absolute treasure of a delight. Oh, and we have Spartanburg as well. This past year with the virtual breakfast meetings that we've had, we have had participants from Horry County, Charleston County, from all over this state, and it's just great to see that people are making the trip out here to see us in person. So where do we begin with our first in-person breakfast meeting in over a year? Well, I think a good way to do it is to start by grounding ourselves in the principles that make us Democrats. In 2020, the Democratic Party, the National Democratic Party, put together our platform, and I would like just to review it together. If you've got a copy of our newest brochure, the Welcome to the Greenwood County Democrats brochure, it's on the back. I encourage everybody, before you leave, visit our literature tent. Grab a lot of stuff. We've got folders and pens and lots of informational material for you. So what is the Democratic Party platform? Number one, protecting Americans and recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. Can I get a fired up?
Ready to go!
No, I just want to fire it up. Fired up. And to me, this is important. Definitely the number one priority. Building a stronger, fairer economy. Can I get a ready to go?
Ready to go!
Achieving universal, affordable, quality health care. Can I get a fired up? Protecting communities, building trust by reforming our criminal justice system. Can I get a ready to go?
Ready to go!
Wonderful. Healing the soul of America. Can I get a fired up? Combating the climate crisis and pursuing environmental justice. Can I get a ready to go? Restoring and strengthening our democracy, including protecting our right to vote. Can I get a fired up? Creating a 21st century immigration system. Can I get a ready to go? I'll take a woo as well. providing a world-class education in every zip code from coast to coast. Can I get a fired up? And renewing American leadership home and abroad. Can I get a ready to go? I think that if we are on board with these principles, we are strong Democrats, and this is what we fight for every day. All right, so let's talk about what y'all may have missed out on. Has there been anybody here who has attended our virtual breakfast meetings? We held 13 of them. And I'll tell you this little secret, I'm quite nervous about today because when it's a virtual breakfast meeting, I'm in control. I get to push the buttons and make sure everything works. Who knows what's going to happen here in live today, so it's a little out of control. But let's start talking about what has happened. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis. First of all, we do have some new county party leadership voted in during a virtual campaign last year, during a virtual convention. I am your chair. My name is Bill Kimler, and you can learn more about me if you get to talk to me. Our first vice chair is Mr. James Thompson. Welcome, James. Thank you very much. Our second vice chair is Mei Kung, immigration attorney, small business owner extraordinaire. Our third vice chair is City Councilman Matthew Miller. Is Matthew in attendance today? No. Okay. Our executive committee woman is Miss Kathy Swindell. An extra round of applause because she helped put all the food together for us today. Our executive committee man and traffic control coordinator, David Gaskin. You may have seen him down there. He's helping make sure people park. Thank you, David. Our alternate executive committee woman is Miss Ella Hill. Ella, hello. Thank you very much. Long-time member, long-time servant. And our alternate executive committee man is a newcomer to our party, Mr. Ahmad Hart. And I also want to mention all of those who have joined our executive committee in an assistive capacity. We've got George Swindell as our treasurer, Lane Horowitz as our secretary, Wanda Moore as our community care coordinator. We've got Audrey Witherspoon, who is a consultant, Lachey Martin and April Tuminelli. They have all joined us in various capacities and have made us stronger, richer in spirit, and just great talent being brought to the board. Now, there's one face here that you may see is missing, is Dr. Bob Phillips. Now, I know he is here, but he is no longer a member of our executive committee. You see, he left us.
There he is. He's over there.
He left us. He says, you know what, Bill? I've done all I can. And he's joined to help strengthen the Abbeville County Democratic Party, which is the county in which he lives. So with our blessing, we wish you farewell and hope to see you around in continuing presence and do great things over in Abbeville like you've done for us, sir. Thank you very much. All right, so to recap our year in review, we did have 13 virtual breakfast meetings. Now, I know some of you loved it. I like virtual breakfast meetings. Some of you can't take it because there's only so much time you can spend in front of a computer. But I tell you what it did allow us to do. We were able to bring in some very talented speakers from across the nation to share their wisdom, to share their excitement, to share their knowledge with us. People like former Representative Mandy Powers-Norrell. She spoke to us back in January. Dr. Robert Saul, who had a great discussion with us about raising children to be good citizens. Representative Crystal Matthews spoke with us. Emily Mayer, a young activist out of Beaufort County. Christopher Bryant is a national voting rights attorney from Washington, D.C. with roots in Charleston. He spoke to us about voting rights. Cheryl and Eric Morton were just a dynamic duo who truly entertained us. Sue Berkowitz, who runs the South Carolina Appleseed Legal Justice Center in Columbia. Dr. Matthew Logan will talk to anybody at any time about the COVID virus and vaccinations. Dr. Kimberly Richburg, PhD from Lander University, teaching political science, and many, many more. All of these, if you missed them, all of these video clips are available on our website or on YouTube. If you've got a couple of minutes or if you've got 13 hours to spend, please go back and take a watch and listen and learn. Pick and choose what you want to see. Very, very rich information offered to us all. Probably the single proudest moment I had in my new tenure as chair was the virtual Carnell Drummond Mays Dinner. Now, this was an inaugural event last November. It had to be held virtually, catering by the fantastic Tony's Salad Bowl. But to put this together, 40 video segments with candidates speaking, with Jamie Harrison speaking, with tickets, with singers and narrators, and just a whole wealth of information to get us pumped up and ready to vote in November. I am just so thrilled that over 37 people contributed to the success of this event. And I hope we never have to do that again. All right, doing it virtually was hard. Doing it in person is the way it ought to be, and we look forward to having our second one in some time. We've also gone through and suffered through what appears to be, in my mind, the longest election ever. Do you agree? I mean, it still doesn't seem like it's over because there's still people thinking that Joe Biden's not president. And what are we in July? So this is a cartoon up on the screen. I'm sure many of you can't read it, but it really summed it up for me. It shows a happy Joe Biden, and in the first panel it says, Joe wins Wisconsin, Biden wins Pennsylvania, Biden wins Georgia, President declared, or Biden declared President-elect. And then in the panels below it says, Biden wins Wisconsin again. Biden wins Pennsylvania again. Biden wins Georgia again. Biden elected president again. So much winning. So that put a little humorous spin on what we all seem to have to suffer through. We did support our candidates like never before. We had a lot of people working behind the scenes on behalf of our candidates. By the numbers, 5,000 Democratic voter guides were hand-delivered to houses and people throughout the county. 300 plus yard signs were distributed. And I know this because my garage was full top to bottom with yard signs, and we were handing them all out. We had 400 inactive Democratic voters, those who had voted Democratic in the past but stopped voting for some reason. We reached out to them to encourage them to get to the polls. We delivered in 24-hour notice. I got a box in the mail from the state party with 300 postcards to go out, handwritten for Jamie Harrison, and said you have 24 hours to do it. I was like, thanks, boss. Can't wait to pull the people together, and happy to say that people stepped up. 300 handwritten postcards for Jamie Harrison in under 24 hours. We had 3 voter registration drives. I wish it were more, I truly do, but we did have 3. We also had 1 huge get out the vote rally with vans and the media in attendance, and that was a fun event. So that was just a blast and a taste of what we were able to do in the pandemic world in the past year. We're going to talk about what you can do to get involved going forward later on in our program today. But first, I would like to introduce our first guest speaker.